Hello there and welcome to another Beyond All Reason video. Today we have a 1v1 on Red Comet Remake with Raghna and rAndy. So a lot of R's taking place in this video. So let's see how both players are starting off. Instantly we see a difference in build choices here from rAndy and Raghna, with Raghna going for a double mex, solar, and then LLT. Whereas we see rAndy only just building his first solar after going for 3 metal extractors and then 2 solars into his bot lab. What this means is that rAndy will get his lab up first, but it does mean that his rear metal extractor right here is very exposed to early raiding. Hopefully rAndy will be able to offset that by his ability to get units out first. Switching over here to Raghna's position, we see Raghna only just starting his factory. At the same time, rAndy is about to finish his factory now. So that is about an 11-second factory advantage to rAndy. Now the question is, what will rAndy build? Will he be able to take advantage of that time? He won't really be able to raid Raghna with those units because of the fact that Raghna has that LLT position at the back there. Raghna seems to be going for a more economy-based approach, starting off with engineers as well, not even starting off with combat units. So Raghna purely relying on that LLT and himself for any form of defense in this early stage, as we see rAndy's grunts starting to make their way across the map. And as they are at this halfway stage now, Raghna is just finishing his second engineer, whereas rAndy is only just starting to build his. See a mixture of 20 grunts to 4 construction bots here, probably in a 210-210 configuration. Whereas on the other side we have rAndy here with a 2-7 configuration. So in essence, rAndy is planning to have more economy than units on the field to begin with. This early raiding will not really get anything, but it does give rAndy the information that Raghna is bots, but obviously that also gives the counter information to Raghna as well. Raghna unfortunately not able to kill that unit off, and we do see rAndy self-destructing that to not give away the economy from the wreck, which we see does happen at the top. Those that aren't aware, a self-destruct does limit the amount of reclaim available from the unit, either completely denying it or giving only a tiny wreck left over. So it's very useful if you know you're going to lose your units in your enemy base, that you try and self-destruct your units before they die to kind of avoid giving that metal to your opponent. And in a 1v1 game of this rank, it's very important. See some early probing here from Raghna, trying to get a little bit of information about where the base is, where his commander is. So we actually look at Raghna's point of view here, we can see like, oh, he clearly knows his commander is there, especially with the bot that just ran into that location. So he also now knows where rAndy's start position is as well, which on this map is pretty obvious. Now what we do see is on this map, in the middle here, on the top and bottom side, is a substantial clump of mexes in a short, small area. Could argue that even with this section here, but that will be harder to defend. Now, I kind of expecting both players to contest this section here. I'm kind of feeling that this area here and here, which is the top left and bottom right corner of the map, is going to be largely ignored, just due to the fact that both players are going to want to push, you know, from their base to the enemy base, and this collection of metal extractors in the middle is so substantial that I think the fighting is going to take place mostly in this section here. And then with maybe some raids splitting off down like that to go to the bases. But we will see what is going to happen. These players always have something up their sleeves, so we'll have to see. Now, both players just kind of posturing, not really doing much right now. Raghna attempting to get a bit of a raid here, but going into that LLT means he's at a massive disadvantage, and reinforcement forces coming in from rAndy here. But the bots are going to slip into that little dip there and get out of the radar vision and manage to escape. And rAndy unable to get those grunts into the gap there that Raghna had left. Now, one thing we haven't actually seen in a while in the 1v1s of late is proxy factories. It was very common for quite a while, but with a lot of the ones that we've seen recently, there's not been much built in the way of proxy factories. So we're actually seeing one here. rAndy right at the front, building a bot lab and building just rocket bots. Now this is perfect for dealing with all these static defenses that Raghna has built. Raghna at this point looks like he is transitioning 2 vehicles. He has 2 construction turrets up in base as well, which is a lot more build power than rAndy has right now. rAndy also massively stalled on energy right now as well. But these rocket bots, defended by the commander with LLTs, is not going to be able to push in and take them out, meaning that rAndy is slowly able to just whittle down anything here. 4 rocket bots is very much able to take out an LLT in basically one volley. So if microed correctly, can just take out a LLT, back off and come back in. Now with that transition to vehicles has left Raghna with a severe unit disadvantage right now. Obviously with vehicles cost substantially more. Now there is a big hole right here. No units there to defend. Now if rAndy takes advantage of that, he could push down to the base and do a substantial amount. But Raghna's comm is also exposed right now as well. And here we do see rAndy take advantage of this gap. The armed LLT will do something, but that tank is not great versus grunts, and that hole has now been penetrated. And surprisingly, rAndy deciding not to push into the base, deciding instead he wants to try and cut Raghna's commander off and slowly push forward with the rocket bots. Now artillery is coming out from Raghna here, and this will do a fairly decent job at slowly pushing these forces back. He does need more of a mass of these Wolverines to make a bigger impact, and these grunts on the north managing to take out Raghna's expanding forces, but because the armed LLTs at the top, it is going to stop that force pushing through anymore. We quickly look at the player's view here. Raghna in a bit of a tough spot. rAndy is aware that there's something there. Probably hasn't seen the commander yet. Probably doesn't know the significance of that area. Raghna trying to push out with these grunts to kind of force the units back, but not really going to do much as all those grunts die. The tank's trying to give some form of reinforcement. Artillery here is going to pressure those units to either make a move or fall back. Pounders are very good here against the grunts that are coming out, but not so good against thugs. rAndy steps forward there to potentially degun, but is not needed. Here comes the swarm of grunts from rAndy. A large attacking force here. Raghna without the units to really defend against this, but continues to back off, and the LLTs doing their job. Surprisingly enough, Raghna still managing to hold out. He just needs to hold out long enough to amass enough for tank force here. I would argue that technically Raghna probably has a metal economy advantage here. He doesn't actually, but only by 2. Which he is just about to make that gap even bigger. As this grunt force pushes in and destroys that little outcrop that Raghna did have. Great push there. Pounders doing a great job with the impulse on their guns here to stop grunts in their tracks. Rocket bots stopping Raghna building anything up here. Getting all of this metal reclaim. And the artillery still pushing rAndy back. Now it's going to be a fight for this reclaim field with 2.1k metal here. Raghna already started to get some of that reclaim. Now metal is very important here. Vehicles are very metal expensive, but if he can keep them alive and build up a big enough force, which Raghna is trying to do, we'll trade better here. Surprisingly enough, Raghna does not get that metal extractor here. That could... It doesn't take long for a metal extractor to pay itself off, so just spending like the 30 seconds there to get that may be impactful, but he's currently not spending all of the metal he has. He also doesn't have enough build power here to keep these units alive, losing a lot of tanks. Not really making much of a dent on these thugs as of yet. But artillery slowly pushing rAndy back. Pounder's not a great choice versus these thugs, but it's all he has. Good tank push here. At the same time, we see a attack push here on the base. rAndy's comm is down to 67% health. Raghna walking towards rAndy's comm. Tanks are great against kiting the commander. As we see rAndy's comm down to 40% health. Raghna's at 67 though. Never really got time to repair. 20% health. 14% health. 9% health. Raghna's comm now in trouble. 20% health. Raghna's comm with no forces. 11. 3% health. No power for the D-gun. Great dodging. 0. And Raghna goes up in smoke. rAndy's comm left with 11% health. Only required a couple more tank shots and Raghna would have won that one. Great game by the both of them there. Well played. Very close. I was not expecting that all in there from Raghna. If you like these 1v1s, don't forget to hit that subscribe. And I'll see you all next time.